Hello and welcome to the Kayo Sports NRL podcast. I'm Braith Anasta. Joining me, two of the best.
Hi, Braith Anasta. How are you?
I don't usually say that, do I?
You don't.
Just thought I'd throw something
I'm
different
Braith
in there.
Anasta.
You started already,
I'm
Coops.
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. Cooper Cronk. I do cop that sometimes with that brown suit that I wear on NRL. Do you like the brown suit?
Love the
No, I don't.
Yeah, Michael Ennis too, by the way. Cooper just stole the show. Actually, Coops, how's your off-season been? I've heard a few rumours about you.
Oh, this will be good. What?
3 or 4 times a week, Eleonora Golf and Country Club.
5 or 6 times a
Really?
week, actually. Yeah, Braith.
How's the handicap?
No, going the wrong way.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, it's been a good summer, mate. Family for Christmas, but rugby league in January, eh? Let's get on.
coming.
And, hey,
Mate, it's good to see you. Birthday yesterday.
Yeah. Getting old,
hey,
mate.
birthday. Happy 49th, mate.
That's a bit
49,
harsh.
surely.
That's a bit harsh. 44. Goes quick, doesn't
You're
it?
not
You're going the other
44.
way. Benjamin Button.
Oh, really? Thanks, mate. I'll take that.
31.
I'll take that.
You're
How you
sucking up
doing?
to the host, please.
Anyway,
You're-
stop
It's a
picking
long
on me.
year. It's a long year.
Stop picking on me.
Thanks for the coffee too, boys. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Coffee
Cheers,
shout
Mick.
too. Cheers.
You've been in the trenches with the Dragons.
Yeah, it's
How's
been
it
good.
going?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, got back into it on the 3rd of January, so early start. It's been a tough pre-season for the boys. Obviously not where we wanted to finish last year, and got some good aspirations, obviously trying to turn that around this year. So yeah, it's been tough, but been good.
So full-time, Mick. You are
Full-time.
full-time assistant coach. Just the next step is coaching, right?
No, yeah, it's been good, Coops. It's been good. It's been a good challenge.
Cooper's asking the hard questions. You already.
Mate, I know.
Hey, head coach Mick.
Yeah, I know.
He's still going to be working here
Gordy
quite a
will be
bit, though. We're not going to look.
Yeah,
All right, let's move on to the rugby league. Now, there has been some rule changes. Pistol Pete, he can fire a bullet. What do we think of these? We'll talk about the first one, the kickoff rule. Whoever concedes the try has the option of either kicking or receiving. Thoughts on this one?
You're at Clubland. How's it been received?
Look, I think, you know, I can't speak for other people at the club, but for me, I always have concerns that we're 2 weeks out from our pre-season challenge and we still don't know the rules to some degree, or the new
point.
rules. Like, I think that's a bit of a concern. You know, there's obviously been some commentary around giving the clubs time to be able to implement these. So whether it's for this season or next season, it sounds like, as you said, from what we're hearing, that it's all guns blazing and going ahead. My concern, I suppose, with the kickoff is I do like the fact that you know, those sides that have been scored against do have that option to receive the footy again. But then you look at that semi-final, the Broncos don't win the competition. That's the cold hard facts of it. The day against the Raiders were well and truly ahead with 10 or 15 minutes to go. And so if the Raiders decide to receive the footy, Walsh doesn't do what Walsh does, and Brisbane don't win a grand final. So we need to think about that. The 6 again is the one that really concerns me, Braith, if I'm being honest. We ask so much of our players, and to think defending your try line with those set restarts that we've seen, and to be fair, there's not a lot of accountability. They're really subjective, those 6 against calls. It's just the opinion of the referee. But that was to try and clean up the try line area where sides were just laying on the opposition to slow down the ruck to get their defensive line set on the try line or in that, you know, good field position. To defend your try line for 12 or 16 tackles is a hell of a lot easier than to have to defend it the whole way up the field, where big boys are having to retreat 10 metres every single time. Now, if that ends up being a set restart 25 metres out, then all of a sudden there's another set restart, you know, sort of on the 40 metre line. There's a potential where your middle forwards are having to defend 18 tackles all the way up the field. I think we'll see enormous fatigue, and I think we'll see a lot of potential controversy and frustration around that from coaches.
Yeah, I think Peter and Andrew and the Commission have a history of just making decisions quickly, which is great, but then what is the domino effect of that decision? Like through COVID, they brought in the 6 again rule, and you know, contemporary players and coaches can understand that possession is king. What happened was a good team would score, get the ball, 6 again, next minute's 100-metre set, dominant scorelines blow out. And then 12 months later, 18 months later, they go, oh, hold on a minute, we can't have that. So we need to rejig the 6 again rule, right? So I think the Commission need to engage, you know, contemporary views, coaches, and I think they've done that. But this one is, I think it's looking through the single lenses of positivity, right? if a team's down by 10 and they have the opportunity, they concede a try and they can receive or kick off, I think that's cool, right? But if I'm a team that's in front and I concede a try, say I'm ahead by 8, right, with 2 minutes to go, I concede a try, I'm up by 2. I can receive the ball. Now I control possession. The opposition, with 2 minutes to go on the clock, does not have a chance to win.
They're pretty much out.
I can hold the ball for 90 seconds and then kick the ball into touch. That team that has all of a sudden made a charge to potentially win on the bell, like the Raiders did against the Sharks, or whatever team has done off the last set, I think is now eradicated.
Well, we'll see less of those comebacks where teams are coming back from 12, 18 points. Possession is king, like you mentioned, full of momentum. And in control of the game. But then you lose control because you scored a try.
But that's what we celebrated, right? Like over the last couple of years, we've celebrated that sides weren't dead and buried.
Yes.
Like that 14 and 16 nil lead in 5-6 years ago, sides would just strangle the opposition and close the game out. But how many times did we see a 14 or 16 nil lead at half time and sides run down when momentum swung? The other one, which is interesting...
Just quickly, before you get to that, why have they brought this rule in then? I mean, a lot of people, a lot of fans, us included, would be asking the question, why? Was it necessary and why have they done it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Do we see positives? Because we've highlighted what we believe are negatives or what could impact the game
I don't
significantly.
I don't think it's going to have a huge bearing on the game, the short kickoff, whether you can receive or kick off, right? The restart option, sorry. It might just have a moment in time where it's like 2 minutes ago, like I explained, that now a team with an opportunity to win won't have an opportunity to win because the opposition who's conceded will receive
What
the
are you
ball.
two doing in a game?
I'll tell you what, I think the coaches are smarter than the rule changes. So the coaches will find a way to manipulate the rule to be advantage to their team. I don't mind the game trying to keep the ball in play and opportunity to score more points. But I think there's an opportunity to maybe incentivise a short restart, right? Don't change the option to kick or receive, but just give the opportunity for that team to, they get the ball back off a short restart, get 7 tackles set. It eliminates the collision and the concussion, but also gives an opportunity. So I don't mind that they're thinking this way, but I just think it eliminates the glory moments that we've seen right at the death of our game. It might give an opportunity to a team that's down by 14 early on to try and change momentum a little bit. But if you're relying on a rule change to change momentum in a game, you are just not up to NRL standards. Simple as that.
All right, Mick, what about the bench? Changes to the bench. 6 players now.
Again, like you spoke about it, like you looked at the positivity and the rules of changing them for the positive side of it. The positive side of it is there was multiple times last year where sides were depleted, and because of the concussion rules and the HIAs and the player welfare that's come into it, sides have at times when they've lost 2 or 3 players been down to 1 or 2 on the bench, and it's a battle. It's a battle to win a game of footy every weekend. So to have the flexibility of having another half on your bench that sides don't normally carry, or to have an outside back or that extra forward, because that's always the contentious call for a coach. Do I carry a back now on my bench because of the concussions and how detrimental it can be to you if you lose a winger or a fullback?
So just confirm it's 6, and as a coach, I can use any 4 of those 6.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
So the positive in that is it brings a little bit of excitement because you've got 6 players there, and if you've got, say, someone like an AJ Brimson on your bench, and you'll need to chase points, away you go. You think of like Jonah Pezzett last year, sitting there behind Jerome Hughes and Cameron Munster. All of a sudden, Hughes does his shoulder, and Craig's planned to use 4 forwards. But all of a sudden, I like it too. But the only concern, if we're diving deep into it, is if we're looking at some of our young players that might have played 3, 5, 10 games, that if they don't get used
that's true.
for 5 or 6 weeks, what are we actually doing to their development? Because coaches are there to win. Coaches, it's the NRL. Like if we're 65, 70 minutes into a game and it's 14-12, the coaches aren't thinking like in junior footy, I've got to give him a run. He just doesn't get a run. But you might need him there because you know during your week that not everyone else in the game needs to know that, like let's say, for example, Jaden Sewer at the Dragons has carried a quad injury, but he's managing him through the week, playing on the weekend. But you've got Jacob Halangahu there, who you just need as cover. But if Jacob doesn't play for that 5 or 6 weeks while Jaden's carrying that injury, then what does that do for Jacob's development? So the positive around it is great. We've got blokes locked and loaded and ready to go. And the entertainment side of it is fans are sitting there going, mate, get Peasant on. How good's this? We haven't had to move Wishart in there. And then, all those different contingencies. But the issue is the lack of game time.
So has this rule been brought in for the tactics side or the HIA cover side, or both?
I think probably both.
I reckon both.
I think probably both.
Yeah.
Because we still had that issue last year when a player is concussed, it's high contact. The player who gave the high contact stays on the field, but the player that concussed comes off, right? So that doesn't necessarily change that rule at all, having 6 players on the bench.
No.
It's a bit more tactically to Mick's point about, the game's on the balance here, I can jag this guy and bring him in. So I think the game still needs to fix that rule. That can't happen. I think there could be a changing of that rule would be way more beneficial to our game than 6 and only using 4.
All right, let's get to the Perth Bears. They have made some significant signings, which we'll get to. But first of all, most importantly, boys, is their logo, their new logo. Do you like it?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's the same as what it was, wasn't it?
It looks the same to me.
I like it.
I do. I like the heritage. I like the colours. I like
Yeah.
what North Sydney delivered in our competition over a long period of time. I like it's been transported across to the West, and they've kept that heritage legacy piece and moved in the next direction. I don't think they got anything wrong there. I think it's pretty cool.
I agree. Keep it simple.
Yeah, well, they're going into an area, there's been a lot of conjecture, hasn't there, about, Perth and the team over there. And so the fact that they had the Bears name already and then straight away they engage the history, then already gives them a footprint, doesn't it, with the people that love North Sydney. And North Sydney, for a lot of people, were always their second favourite team, weren't they? Because they went so close so many times. I like it.
And I think it's one of the strengths of Mal too. I've been coached by him, and he does a really good job at connecting the history to the present and the future. And he did that, like the announcement with Florimo and Gaia around Mal there. There's something that says that this team are doing all the right things, even though they're still 12 months away.
Yeah, I love it. With AI and all that these days, you never know what's going to happen with those logos. The Bulldogs did a new one not long ago. That was controversial, but
What's AI?
hey,
What's AI? Can you explain it
come
to
on,
me?
Kirby, you're a lot smarter than that, mate. All right, let's get to the roster. They have made some signings. Listen, it was always going to be tough for Mal and his team. It's not till 2027, so they've got another year still to recruit players, which they'll need to. Let's have a look at some of their signings. I've got them in front of you. You got them there, Coops?
Yep.
Just so you know. You've done
It's
your prep. I
January,
can see all
mate.
your notes.
It's January.
It's good to see you turned up.
It's got a big lead from 2001.
Big league still around. What do you boys think so far? I mean, Nick Meaney, Sean Russell, Harry Newman, the list goes on there. Tyron Wishart and Sexton, do they play in the half? Well, Sexton will obviously at 7. What do you do with Wishart? And then the forward, Josh Curran's a real good signing, I believe. I saw Malawi, Smith, McDonald. So there's guys that are on the edge of first grade that are there and some with his first grade experience, and they've got some key signings. None that really, if I'm being honest, jump out and, they're not X-factor players, right? They're kind of guys that you look at that they're not quite going to win your competition, are they? So they got some building to do there.
Yeah, I really like the type of player that Mal's signing. You just spoke about being coached by him, and someone to me like Liam Henry is everything that I think Mal wants his footy side to look like. For anyone that's watched the lower grades of Canterbury, Luke Smith's another one of those. He's going to the London Broncos for 12 months, but had some time with Cameron Serraldo's NRL team, but he's tough worker. Meaney's shown his quality at Melbourne. My understanding is Wishart's going there to play 9. Okay. That's my understanding. He wants to play 9.
What do you think? Is he a 9-6? What do you see him as?
I think with the way the current game is, I think he could definitely work at 9, but he needs time there.
Yep.
Like I think sometimes we see a fast runner or someone that's really quick off the mark and someone that's a good worker, and we just go, well, they can make it at 9. But then you just watch the actual art of that position when you watch someone like Blake Brayley and you watch Harry Grant and just how important they are to their footy sides in terms of getting them up the field. And then most importantly, when they earn the right to attack and score points, they're getting the ball to the right players at the right time. You see,
Which is experience, right?
Yeah.
In the position.
That's and exactly. So it's a great opportunity for him because he's been sitting there very patiently and done a great job for Melbourne with his versatility. But it's time for him, and he wants to establish himself. The one that I really think that they could go after would be Cody Nikorima.
Yeah.
I just think Cody Nikorima's been so underestimated, and there's been so much celebrated, and rightly so, about Katoa. But I think Katoa, a lot of his education and a lot of his development and stardom, or his rise in stardom, has come off the back of having that experience of Cody Nikorima around him. I think he'd be a super signing for him.
Yeah, I think they're building from the ground up. Character over talent in the early stages, which I think is right. Like Meany, Wishart, Henry, Curran, they're in my team. They just work hard. They're goers. Wishart could play anyway. He's just a competitor, which I think a new franchise just needs to see people like that as an example.
But where do you put him, Coops? It's a tough one because he's been 14, really, and he's come and done a great job off the bench in halves or 9 when he's needed to.
Mick knows better than me about the 9 position.
Would you see him as a half then? That's a half.
Look, I think he could play 5'8" with a real controlling dominant half. But I also like his flexibility of playing 9 and 6 as well. So he's just in my team. If I'm starting a new franchise, he's the type of player I'm going to get. And I like that they're trying to sort of build as opposed to trying to get that big all-star name that everyone wants to happen. Look, I'm not sure who's available. Like, I think in that list, like someone like a Patrick Carrigan or a Isaiah or a Cameron Murray, like someone that's like a really good example of what leadership and dominant forward play is. That's the type of player. But when I look at who's available, I think I would go down the path of getting 5 or 6 Queensland under-19s, New South Wales under-19s, New Zealand, Tongan players. Yeah, and going like, look, the Dolphins, Isaiah Katoa 2.0, like go and get 5 or 6 of those guys who have played a bit of rep football together and invest in them. Get some hard heads around.
I think Mel, I've had a few chats with Mel working here at Fox and around Perth, and that was his intention. It's obviously very hard. He knows he's got to get. He wanted to get like-minded, like the guys you kind of talked about, and guys that had played together quite a bit too through the 19s, 17s, whatever it is.
I think that's a good move
with Queensland. So they've already got that relationship because they've got to move states, take their families, other side of Australia, and try and form a bond as soon as possible, right? So he wanted to get guys that actually, knew each other beforehand and had relationships.
Because everyone wants to see a big marquee player from Brisbane, Melbourne, Penrith, whatever, and bring them together, right? It's cool. It gets a headline. But I think if you're going to build this club for the ground up and be successful, I think a couple of those, cream of the crop, 19-year-old.
Do you think, I spoke with, on the last podcast, I mentioned it. Do you think the NRL should help them somehow, financially or whatever which way, whether it's extra third party, whatever, to get a couple of big names there, Because I look at this and I've got to be honest, I'm thinking this is miles away. They're doing a good job with what they've got, but they're miles away. They're going to take years with the roster they've got there. And who they get? It's hard for us to even mention who they get next,
right? Like I think there's a lot to play out to where we sit.
But they need 2 or 3 big guns too.
Yeah, they do.
If you look at the Dolphins, like they bought great character. Like they've got the Bromwich Boys and Felice Kafusi, and it went and got Tom Gilbert, who was that young but really led by example early at the Cowboys. But then all of a sudden they landed Hamiso, and Hamiso was that jersey seller. He was the one that the kids were all attracted to, and then they found Katoa. So they've got some real marquee guys there now. Herbie Farnworth came 12 months later. You're right, Braith. There's great character, and it looks like a good. Like these guys are going to compete every week.
What you said, that's the ingredients of a team, right? Some good hard edge character, a bit of superstar, some experience. Like you get the good mix of young talent coming through. And look, I think.
Do we think Tino would, the fact that they've signed Isaac for Asul Malawi is...
He'd be perfect, and Mel's after him. But again, he's at a club now that's struggled.
Yep.
He's probably going to see how they go this year with Josh and at the helm and see if they do improve like they intend to, because he wants competition.
It's a good play. The Isaac signing's a good play.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great play.
Of course.
Package deal.
All right, let's move on now to the Zach Lomax situation. No R360, which he was going to go to. And now Melbourne Storm are making a play for Zach. Now, the clubs yesterday apparently are not happy at all. Don't think it should be allowed. Don't think that the NRL should allow the Melbourne Storm to make a player or sign him. How does this sit with you, Coops?
I think Melbourne Storm have a right to have a go at him, but I think Jason Rolls and Parramatta Eels have rights to Lomax. So he's chosen to play his card, Zach, and he's probably missed what he wanted to do. And now he's in a little bit of limbo. But ultimately, it's up to the Eels. If they get some juicy compensation, by all means. But if it's not juicy enough, hold on to that right of Zach Lomax.
What juicy compensation do you think? What's it going to take?
If I'm Riles and Eels, it's good. It's a money, it's a player. Like, they hold all the power here. Every club can knock on the door of Parramatta Eels and say, I want Zach. But unless it ends up being complimentary or beneficial for the Eels.
Well, let's look at the Eels. What do they need? I'll come to you on this, Mick. What do the Eels probably need? Losing Zach, what player swap could they make? What player could they go for in Melbourne? Because that's essentially what's going to happen. You would think, if you're Parramatta, you're not just going to let him go to Melbourne. But if they can get something out of it, which would be a player in return, who would it be?
Well, obviously they've lost a quality outside back in Lomax. So you're thinking someone of Coates or Warbrick are the type of player that they'd obviously be after as an outside back. There's talk about Jack Howarth because centre has been an area that they've been looking to fill. Obviously Penasini's done a really good job there, but they've also had a number of other centres that have tried that.
And Howarth can play probably back row too, right?
The other one's front row, because Junior obviously has come into the back end. He was superb last year, probably had one of his best seasons, but he's not getting any younger either. And Melbourne have got some good young forwards coming through there. So
what Melbourne are short on, though, are outside backs. That's why they're going for Zach.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think, with a lack of depth there, I think in those positions they're going to give away a Howarth.
But then they don't.
Two you mentioned, Warbrick and...
They're not going to let go. That is the like-for-like replacement, but it's not going to happen.
No.
So then if it's a mid-tier player with some cash, if I'm the Eels, I'm saying, no, I just want Xavier Coates.
No, they're not going to let go.
Don't bother.
What are they chasing Lomax for? Like, if you've got Farlong at fullback and you've got Coates and Warbrick on your wings...
Centre.
Zach Lomax at centre.
No, I know we've been through this, and he wanted to go there originally to be a centre, but I would assume that's what they're after him for, because Howarth, I think, as amazing as he's done, I don't think he was a natural centre, was he? Was he always a natural centre? He was a back rower, and he's done a great job there. But you can see Melbourne have fallen short in big games and lacked a bit of firepower on their edges, I believe, and probably in the forwards a little bit. But to get to that next level, they're a great team. But, is Jack the answer for them?
They are not the only club that will be knocking on the Eels' door. This will continue on until someone comes up with,
And what should the NRL do?
Well, NRL just let it play out. It's up to the
NRL
Eels.
need to back Parramatta.
Yeah, 100%
the fact of the matter was
that.
that Zach Lomax had signed a contract, and that contract has to remain. And the fact that Parramatta got their ducks in a row and said, no problem, if you want to go and chase that money, that's great, and we're happy to support you to do that. But we also had a long-term plan with you and signed you to that. So therefore, you can't play until 2029 in the NRL.
Fair enough.
So that then has to remain. Unless Parramatta turn around and say, we're happy with the player that we're receiving and we're happy with the financial benefit that we're receiving from Melbourne, we're happy to let...
I don't think the NRL play a part in this at all.
That's the thing,
This is
right?
literally the Parramatta Eels.
That's what I was going to say.
100%.
So all the pressure from the clubs now, well, they're putting heat on the NRL to not allow it to happen. Really, it's not the NRL's
Nothing to
problem,
do with the
right?
NRL.
So the clubs should be more, they're probably more wary of...
Purely up to the Eels and
Parramatta.
Jason Riles what they want to do. If they feel like they've got something worthwhile letting Zach go, by all means. But until that moment happens, this story will just keep bubbling along until someone comes up with something.
Unfortunately for Zach, the situation is what it is, because he obviously left Parramatta without securing the 360 the contract, or at least having something concrete in place. So
I think see a lot of probably players in clubs and even fans look at it and think, Zach, as much as he had every right, well, he turned his back on the Eels, right?
Yeah.
Turned his back on the game.
Yeah.
For a more lucrative offer. That's gone to shit. Well, hang on, I want to come back.
Yeah.
People don't like that.
no, they don't.
And I think that's really what it's all about, But Zach is a different. I know Zach quite well. He was living near me in Coogee. Great bloke.
That big house on the hill, mate, that you live on.
He had a big
the one
house.
where you look down on the beach and
back,
everything.
I was in a little shack back a few streets.
Boys,
back.
sit on your balcony, wave down to everyone.
Sorry about the Coogee Bay a few times. No, he's a bit like Pappenhausen in a way. They kind of beat to their own drum, and I kind of like that, right? They're their own sort of human beings. They go out on a limb, they back themselves. I love that, right? He's a bit different, and you've been coached by Craig Bellamy. Do you think that he'd fit in well down there?
100%. Yeah, doesn't matter what your lifestyle is, doesn't matter what style of football you are. Craig Bellamy gets one thing out of every player. That's once you come to Melbourne Storm, you buy into what he's doing. So absolutely that would work. Even to the point that I think Zach has struggled defensively in the centres. Craig can teach him that. Like he's one of the best coaches in the game, and
that's their number one there, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Zach, it was the tough call from Shane Flanagan to say, "Hey, you're playing on the wing this year. That's what the team needs from you." And to his credit, he went after that. Craig's going to make those same tough decisions and have the same expectations. And Zach's shown that effort style of when he actually invests in that. It took him from a club player to a test player.
To one of the best wingers in the game.
Absolutely. So there's no doubt that he can do it. And I think being under a coach that's willing to make those tough calls like the Flanagans and the Bellamys are exactly what works for Zach.
Quick one, crystal ball. What happens to him? Where's he land? Do you reckon Melbourne get him?
No.
No. Mick?
I don't, who knows?
Just
I don't.
I'm going to say yeah.
I think
gonna
this
say
story
yes.
takes completely a different tangent.
Yeah, I'll say yes too because
Okay.
it's your birthday. We're having coffee.
It was yesterday.
We're having coffee.
It was yesterday, mate. Move on. All right, now, big signing, Mick, for your team, the Dragons. Keon Kaloa-Matangi leaving the Bunnies, which, was a big call. I think a lot of South fans were disappointed. A lot of Dragons fans should be excited. Now, he was great this year. Big deal, but Mick, really encouraging for the club.
Yeah.
Heading in the right direction.
Yeah, really positive for them. I mean, Keon's one of the elite forwards in the competition. Obviously elevated himself to test level last year. And the fact that Shane Flanagan and Tim, the CEO there, sold the plan of where the club's going and the direction of where they want to get the club to. And the fact that Keon was, willing and really keen to get on board with that is exciting for the club. It's an enormous signing. It really is.
The helicopter worked, eh?
The helicopter was good. Did you see
Borrow yours, dude.
Did you drive that? Or?
Did you see that go past? Could you?
No. I left from Redfern. I'm on the coast, Did
the old South boy, eh? You turned your back, have you?
You got a
Turned your back
helicopter.
on the roots, have you? Oh, Redfern, eh?
Don't go there. Or don't go there.
Hey, boy, South Junior.
Oh, shit. I don't need that in my life anymore, Mick. All right? What do you think, Coops?
Look, I think it's a good signing. Without, Mick's obviously embedded there at the Dragons. Without offending Mick and the Dragons, I think they needed athleticism. They needed someone with some punch, some footwork, someone that can just really bend the line and break tackles. Like, they've got some solid players there, like, Couchman, Gula, Hamish Stewart, Josh Kerr. Jaden Stewart, to me, is the point of difference in the pack for the Dragons. He can break a tackle, he can offload, and he can beat someone one-on-one. They just needed someone else, and I think Keon Kaloa-Matangi does that. I think they'll be a really good defensive team. They'll probably lack some quick play the balls this year, hence the signing for Keon next year. The
area that I was impressed, talking to people that were involved in the negotiations was the fact of how much he enjoyed, through a tough period last year of injuries at South, he really enjoyed that leadership role and taking on ownership of that footy side, and then understanding that, and I'm really comfortable saying this, the South Coast at the moment has produced some really good kids that the Dragons have got there, the Hamish Stewarts, Dylan Egan, the Couchman boys. and he really wants to be part of their growth. And I think that's a big reason for him coming there as well. So that's exciting.
Where do you play him?
Well, I think that's the luxury of having him in the modern game is his ability to either start on an edge and come into the middle, or start in the middle and go onto an edge if need be. But I think where the pack is, he's probably in the middle. That's where I would imagine. But that's a decision for Shane to make. But
Mick, what about the Atkinson and Kyle? Give us a little bit of colour on that. Atkinson start at 7, training well.
Yeah, he's been playing 7 at the moment. He's been excellent, actually. He's been great to work with. He's a breath of fresh air. He's very much that modern half that likes to run the footy. Him and Kyle have it's not a manufactured chemistry. They're getting along well. Obviously, the travel from Sydney, both boys there are in Cronulla. They travel down together, down to Wollongong to training and get along well. The other one there who's training really well, who I've been impressed with, is Lycan King Tongia. Very,
I like him.
Yeah, very
If he can get his defence right, Mick,
Yep.
like his attack, he's got that X factor, creativity, can create something out of nothing, which is, points to what you guys want as well, right? But his defence let him down last year.
Yeah.
If he can get that right,
definitely.
he's knocking on the door again. I mean, he's proven,
He plays as direct as any half.
Well, what's the other combo? I'm going to go a bit off track here. So if it doesn't work, right, because it can, as much as you believe it's going to and you should, and you're seeing great signs. If Atkinson comes, because there is a question mark whether he's a genuine 7 or not, right? Like, he's got to own that team.
Yep.
If he doesn't get it right, what happens?
Well, I think, as I said before, around the Zach Lomax thing, and knowing Shane for a long time now, he's not afraid of making tough calls. But the other part of it is, and it's the one thing that I loved about playing under Shane, was the trust that he puts in you. And so if Atkinson and Kyle, if they start the season together, he'll give them time to build together. And I think that's the most important thing for a guy that's coming into a new position, time to find his feet, to build combinations, and to feel like the coach trusts him. And that's the one thing that I've been impressed with over the summer is when Atkinson's got things right, he celebrated it, Shane Flanagan. Yeah. When he hasn't, he supported him and spoke to him about how he can do things better there, as opposed to, feeling like there's frustration or it's not working in that moment.
Interesting. It's going to be to start the season. All these teams we're talking about with key changes.
Like I'm on 360 already.
Buzz is
coming up
now.
after the break.
Buzz has got his shirt off with chimes up in Queensland, just with his baby oil on. All right, let's get to the South Sydney Rabbitohs and preview them for this year coming. It's an interesting one for them. A lot of injuries last year. We just spoke about Keon Kaloa-Matangi. He's going to be moving on after the season. How do we see South going this year? They've still got a really good roster. I just mentioned the injuries. If they have no injuries, Coops, if they have no injuries, can they, I won't say win the comp, but can they be in contention to win a competition?
I'm really unsure with South Sydney. The thing that should give South Sydney fans hope is Wayne Bennett. It's not his first rodeo. He knows exactly how to get the best out of whatever player is on his list. I really like what the energy, the enthusiasm, the spark that the young blokes brought to the back end of the season. Gray, Duncan, Hubner, Ashton Ward, like when he got a couple of games, there was a lot of energy there. Latrell wasn't playing. Cody came back late. Whiten's there. So on paper, the Whiten, Cody, Latrell obviously, is the go-to. But what those young blokes did, Jai Gray just has to be in the team somewhere because he just fights for every inch. It's a great character to have.
Who would you play at 7? Do you like Humphreys?
Him and Sullivan, to me, are okay. They're solid. They might have a good game here running, but they're just not going to dominate 80 minutes for 27 rounds. Walker, to me, has the confidence. He's got the experience. He's lost a bit of his legs and his speed, but when he came back at the back end of last year, that left side attack is still as fluent as it's ever been, right? Yeah. So I come from an angle of put responsibility and accountability on your best players. I think Cody Walker goes to 7. The challenge for Cody is can he defy when a 5'8" moves into the 7 jersey? Can you still be the game breaker and the game manager and still have an impact on the team. Jerome Luai went to the Tigers, wrestled with how do I run the footy, how do I run this team. There's a lot of players that have transitioned with the 6 to 7 and lost a little bit of their mojo. But I think,
Okay,
I think Cody Walker.
Cody to 7, who's 6?
Oh, yeah, any one of the names you've just mentioned. This is, I think,
I've spent
Wayne
a lot
will
of time with Humphreys at Manly, and there was a game against Newcastle through the Origin period where we didn't have Cherry Evans. He's a really good 7 when he in games where he's. I think he can run South's footy team. I really do. I think he can really free up Cody just to own that left side and run. I take your point, absolutely, and it's great food for thought around for Wayne Bennett there, because Cody with that extra responsibility might be just what it needs to unlock South a little. But I think Humphreys played behind a side that was highly depleted last year with injuries, and if you keep that back line together and that back row of Fafita, potentially Kaloamatangi and Cam Murray there, if you put Cam Murray back into that side, he takes huge pressure off both halves. But he's got really good calmness, good composure, and a really good left foot kicking game.
I didn't think about that, Cam Murray. I think he becomes Isaiah of South Sydney. Just give him the first 3 tackles of every set, control the play the ball, and then it actually helps for a awkward 7 who doesn't understand the nuances of first receiver and the movements to actually get him out the back of a 13 to move on the 45-degree angle a bit more smoothly. So to Mick's point, maybe that is the case. Maybe it is Walker and Humphreys, and it's Cameron Murray controlling everything in the middle of the field like Isaiah.
I think you're right, Mick. Humphreys, and being a half, like if you're struggling in a team with injuries and you're not going forward or getting that quick play of the ball, Murray was out for a significant part of the year. It's a different ball game. He has looked really good when they have been going well in the 7 position with a bit of momentum and play the ball speed. Just going back quickly before we tie off with South. Now, could you play Whiten in the halves with Walker? Is that an option with that? And then you could even put Jai Gray at fullback and Latrell in the centres. That's a question that's going to be asked all year. Yeah. Should Latrell be fullback? Like that. Where do you sit with that? Because I know it's been spoken about for a long time, but with Jai's form and effectiveness when he has played at 1 and how good they have looked when he's been there, it's going to continue. What would you guys do?
If I'm Wayne Bennett, he's probably going to do this. I'd have a conversation with Latrell and say, it's up to you, Latrell. Okay. If Latrell eyeballs me and says, I want to be the fullback and I want to dominate this team, I'm giving him the fullback jersey. If he goes, yeah, I'll play left centre, Jai Gray's my fullback.
In a side that was highly depleted, they needed energy, they needed enthusiasm, and we were all captivated. We loved what Jai Gray brought every week because he was just so wholehearted. If South Sydney are fully fit, I'm playing Latrell at fullback.
Okay.
I'm playing.
All depends on Latrell.
That combination down that left-hand side, and I would love to see it open up on the right-hand side because when Latrell ventures right, he's a threat too, but he sits on that left-hand side a lot with Cody. But if he ventures to that right-hand side and they become double-sided, and his pass selection and presence out the back is phenomenal.
Combination.
I think if
but what do you do with Jai?
If Latrell is dialed in this year,
that's where that 6 bench rotation becomes so important.
Latrell is dialed in this year, plays 20-plus games, and most of those games are 8 out of 10. Yeah. He's got to be.
And the only real way,
but if he wants to go 50-50 in and out, sometimes good, sometimes bad, he's left centre, Jai Gray, you're in, your whole heart.
The reality is, if they want to win a comp, Latrell's got to be that anyway.
He's got to have his hands on
He's one of the best moments players in our comp.
He is. All right, this is your favourite time, Coops and Mick.
Are we finished?
You're being very rude today.
Sorry, mate.
Have some respect.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Sorry, it's your birthday.
All this Eleanor Country Club and
49 years of age. I should give you
changed, Braith.
It's like the rich and famous over here. He's forgotten about us. Us strugglers. All right.
Waving down to Zach Lomax.
The fan questions. All right, Adam of Smeg. I don't know what that is anyway. We always hear about players that love the big stage and playing in front of big crowds. Do you think this makes recruitment harder for teams who regularly play in front of small crowds?
No. You play anyone, anywhere, under any conditions.
Yeah.
Simple. If that's the mindset of any player, doesn't matter if there's your mum and dad watching or 80,000 in the stand, you'll perform your role. So no, not at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, if you think of some of the suburban grounds, like particularly Penrith, it only holds, 15, 20,000 before it got redeveloped.
Yeah.
That joint, when it was full on Friday nights, was impressive to play it as opposed. I mean, everyone loves playing at Suncorp, but you get an opportunity to do that as an away side anyway at different stages.
The only thing changes in the big stadiums, you get a nice fresh haircut for the big game.
Yeah.
It's about the only thing that changes.
The haircuts have been good these days.
Speaking of haircuts, Braith.
It's a happy birthday haircut.
Yeah.
It's just falling out, mate.
All right. It's going very great, I can tell you that. Big dog for life. Which of you three would win in a wrestle and why?
Not me.
It's Greek Roman wrestling.
I'm finishing third in all of that, so you
You
two
were.
can
I
fight
reckon
it out.
Mick could take it out. You were a good wrestler back in the day, Mick. Eh? And then you'd be chirping in our ears, giving us
I've
a bit
seen some of your training on Instagram. I think you're a favourite, Braith.
He's clipped me in a couple of games before, and I got a bit dizzy. So he's
you
got
two have had a bit of a battle, haven't you?
He fish hooked me.
You
once.
should win being a Melbourne.
tight,
Ex-Melbourne player should win this every day of the week.
Correct.
You
Or don't start that conversation at this time of year, Braith.
chicken wing?
No, don't.
I actually never walked on the wrestling mat.
Rubs,
I
eh?
just pulled out the pension card every time.
Oh, this one's for you, Coops.
Ooh.
You seem like a cricket man. Should Stokes have bowled more to Travis Head and tried to swing the ball away from him while bowling over the wicket?
Is that from Braith from Coogee, that question? Oh, mate, whatever. As long as Australia win.
Hang on, you got to answer the question, mate.
What?
Should Stokes have bowled more to Travis Head?
Well, didn't Travis Head smash him all over the SCG in Adelaide? So doesn't
you
matter
do
what
love cricket?
So it doesn't matter what he bowled.
Beautiful. All right. That's a good answer, Coops. All right, boys. Thank you very much. This is your favourite time. It's over. Hey. Thank you, Mick.
Thanks,
you, Coops.
guys.
Happy birthday, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
boys. We'll
Nice
see you.
boys.
That's it for Kayo Sports NRL podcast. We'll see you next time.